3 books in January, and I'm gonna let you know if you should read them with a simple yes, no, or maybe. The first book I read was The House of My Mother, and this is an absolute yes, 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 and yes. As a longtime fan of Sherry Frankie, this was probably my most anticipated release of 2025, and it only came out on January 6th. So I went to the store the other day, bought it, and read it all in one sitting, literally in less than 3 hours. This book is addicting. It's about the importance of child influencers being regulated and all the impacts of family vloggers. And even if you don't know this family, you need to pick up this book. It's so important. The next book I read in January was Graveyard Shift, but it's actually a novella. So I have a caveat to this one. You should read this, yes, if you've read If We Were Villains by Emma Rio, but maybe if you haven't read it. My main problem with this book was the fact that it was a novella. There needed to be about 300 more pages and a lot more character development and story development. I wanted more. I turned the last page, and when I saw it was the acknowledgements, I was like, what? So definitely if you've read Emma Rio's work before, you'll definitely appreciate this book a lot more than if you haven't. So read If We Were Villains first and then read Graveyard Shift. And the final book I read in January was Cobble Hill. This is a maybe, leaning more towards no. I have really not a lot of problems with this book. The main thing is I don't really care about character-driven novels to this extent. This is about a bunch of neighbors in Brooklyn who all live on the same street, Cobble Hill, and there's about 10 to 15 characters, and the whole book is just about them and how all their lives intersect, which is such a cool concept, but there's really no plot. The book ends and I was just kind of like, okay. I didn't really think there was like an overarching problem that we had to solve or anything like that. It kind of was just all about these characters. So if you like character-driven novels, this is a definite yes, but if you're not really into that, maybe skip out on this one or maybe pick it up for a quick read. I will say I finished it in like 3 days. So those are the 3 books I read in January. Make sure to comment down below your favorite read so I know what to read in February.